Learn English through stories. Intermediate English. Jack and the Beanstalk. A poor boy, a handful of magic beans, and an adventure above the clouds. Follow Jack's journey as he climbs the beanstalk to face a fearsome giant and discover courage, cleverness, and hope along the way. Improve your English naturally as you read and listen to this classic story, told in clear, simple English for learners. Don't just study English, live it through stories. A Poor Boy and His Mother. Once upon a time, there lived a young boy named Jack and his widowed mother. They lived in a tiny, tumble-down cottage and were very poor. Their only friend was their gentle milking cow, Daisy. But one sad day, Daisy stopped giving milk, and they had nothing left to eat. The hard decision. "We must sell Daisy," his mother said with a heavy heart, her eyes filled with tears. "Take her to the market and get the best price you can. It is the only way we will have money for food." Jack was sad to part with his friend, but he knew his mother was right. Journey to the market. So, the next morning, Jack set off on the long road to the market, leading Daisy by a rope. The sun was bright, but Jack's heart was heavy. He walked slowly, patting the cow's side and promising her he would find her a good home. He hoped to bring back enough money to make his mother smile again. A strange encounter. On his way, Jack met a strange little man with a long beard and twinkling eyes. "Good morning, Jack," said the man. "That's a fine cow you have there. Where are you taking her?" Jack explained that he was going to the market to sell her. The man smiled a mysterious smile and opened his hand. The magic beans. "I'll make you a trade," the man offered. "I will give you these magic beans for your cow." Jack stared at the beans. They were colorful and seemed to shimmer with a strange light. "Magic beans?" he asked, his curiosity growing. The man nodded eagerly, promising they were worth more than any amount of money. A foolish trade. Excited by the thought of magic, Jack made the trade and rushed home to show his mother. But when he told her what he had done, she was not happy. "You foolish boy!" she cried in despair. "You traded our only cow for a handful of worthless beans! Now we will surely starve." Thrown out and heartbroken. In her anger, Jack's mother snatched the beans from his hand and threw them out the cottage window into the garden. She sent poor Jack to bed without any supper. Jack was heartbroken. He felt foolish and went to his small room, convinced he had made a terrible mistake that had ruined everything for them. The giant beanstalk. The next morning, Jack woke up to find his room was strangely dark. He looked out the window and gasped in amazement. Where his mother had thrown the beans, a gigantic beanstalk had grown. It twisted up and up, past the trees and into the clouds, so high that he couldn't see the top. Climbing to adventure. "The beans really were magic!" Jack shouted with excitement. Forgetting his hunger and his mother's anger, he was filled with a sense of adventure. He had to see what was at the top of this incredible plant. Without a second thought, he ran outside and began to climb the thick, sturdy stalk. above the clouds. Jack climbed for what felt like hours. He climbed higher than the houses and the tallest trees. He climbed so high that his little cottage looked like a tiny toy below. Soon he was climbing through the soft white clouds, wondering what amazing secrets lay above them. The air grew cool and misty around him. The castle in the sky. At last, Jack pulled himself over the top of the beanstalk and found himself in a strange new land. A long, straight road stretched out before him, leading to a massive castle that seemed to be carved from stone. It was the biggest castle Jack had ever imagined, with towering walls and giant doors. The giant's wife. Jack walked to the castle and squeezed under the enormous door. Inside, he met a very, very tall woman, the giant's wife. She was surprised to see a little boy. "Goodness me! What are you doing here?" she asked kindly. "You must hide. My husband, the giant, loves to eat little boys for breakfast." Fee-fi-fo-fum! Just then, the whole castle began to shake with heavy footsteps. Thump! 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 The giant's wife quickly hid Jack in a large cupboard. The giant stomped into the room, sniffing the air with his huge nose. He roared in a voice that sounded like thunder. "Fee-fi-fo-fum! I smell the blood of an Englishman." The Golden Hen. "There's no one here, dear," the giant's wife said nervously. After eating his massive dinner, the giant called for his special hen. "Lay!" he commanded, and the little hen laid a perfect, solid gold egg. Jack watched in amazement from his hiding spot. The giant soon fell asleep, snoring loudly. The first escape. As soon as the giant's snores filled the room, Jack tiptoed out of the cupboard. He quietly crept over to the table, gently scooped up the hen that laid the golden eggs, and tucked it under his arm. He ran as fast as his legs could carry him, back to the beanstalk. Riches at home. Jack scrambled down the beanstalk and rushed into his cottage. "Mother, look!" he shouted, placing the hen on their small table. His mother watched in disbelief as the hen clucked and laid a shiny golden egg right before her eyes. They were poor no longer. They had food and comfort for many weeks. The second climb. But Jack was an adventurous boy, and he couldn't forget the giant's castle. He decided to climb the beanstalk one more time. He hid again, and this time he watched the giant count his treasure, sacks and sacks of gold coins. When the giant fell asleep, Jack grabbed one heavy sack and hurried away. Gold and comfort. Jack reached home safely with the heavy sack of gold. His mother gasped when she saw the shining coins spill across their small table. For a time, they lived in comfort and joy. But as the days passed, Jack's curiosity returned. He often looked at the sky, wondering what other wonders lay beyond the clouds. The magic harp. After some time, Jack grew restless again and decided on one final trip. This time, the giant brought out his most prized possession, a beautiful golden harp. "Play!" the giant commanded, and the harp began to play the most beautiful music all by itself. The lovely tune soon lulled the giant to sleep. caught by the giant. Jack knew he had to have the magical harp. He crept out and grabbed it. But as he ran, the harp cried out, "Master! Master!" The giant woke up with a start, his eyes blazing with fury. He saw Jack escaping with his precious harp and let out a furious roar. The furious chase. "I'll grind your bones to make my bread!" the giant bellowed, leaping from his chair. He chased Jack out of the castle and across the cloudy land. Jack had never run so fast in his life. He could hear the giant's thundering footsteps getting closer and closer behind him as he reached the beanstalk. Down the beanstalk. Jack scrambled down the beanstalk as fast as he could. The golden harp clutched tightly under his arm. Above him, he could feel the whole beanstalk shaking as the huge, heavy giant began to climb down after him. "Hurry, Jack! Hurry!" he told himself, his heart pounding in his chest. "Mother, bring the axe!" When Jack was nearly at the bottom, he looked up and saw the giant's huge legs descending through the clouds. He was getting closer. "Mother! Mother! Bring the axe!" Jack shouted as his feet touched the ground. His mother, hearing the urgency in his voice, came running from the cottage with their wood-chopping axe. The fall of the beanstalk. Jack grabbed the axe from his mother and began to chop at the base of the beanstalk with all his might. Chop! 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 He swung the axe again and again. With one final mighty swing, the great beanstalk began to creak and groan, and then it started to topple over. Happily ever after. With a tremendous crash, the beanstalk came tumbling down, and the giant fell with it, disappearing forever. That was the end of the giant and the magic beanstalk. Jack and his mother, with the hen that laid golden eggs and the magical harp, had everything they could ever need. They lived happily ever after. What about you? Jack became rich and happy, but do you think he was also a little greedy? Was it fair for him to take the giant's treasures, or was he just trying to survive? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share for more fun English lessons.